Hello everyone, welcome back. In this session we will learn about declaring variables in modern JavaScript. So in this aspect we will learn about hoisted variables, scope-abiding variables, constant-like data. Let's start with hoisted variables. So what is hoisted variables? Hoisting is a JavaScript mechanism where variable and function declarations are moved to the top of their scope during the compilation phase. Only declarations are hoisted, not initializations. Variables declared with var are initialized to undefined, while let and const remain uninitialized and throw an error if accessed before declaration. So what it means? Let's understand with an example. To understand this, I am going to create a file called declaring variables in modern javascript.js. And over here I am going to explain you hoisting concept. To explain the hoisting concept, I will write a console.log statement and try to access the variable without initializing, and later I will write var myname equal to John. When you run it, then it will throw undefined when you are using var. Here the var keyword is used to declare the variable myname. When the line console.log myname is executed, it outputs undefined. This happens because the declaration of myname is hoisted to the top of the scope, but its assignment, John, is not. Therefore, at the time of the console.log call, myname is declared but not yet assigned a value, resulting in undefined. Now instead of var, let's use let keyword. So here I will write console.logx, and then in the next line I will use initialize it with let keyword. Now execute it. Here the let keyword is used to declare the variable x. When the line console.log x is executed, it throws a reference error. Unlike var, variables declared with let and const are not initialized until their declaration is evaluated. This means that let and const declarations are hoisted, but they are placed in a temporal dead zone from the start of the block until the declaration is encountered. Accessing the variable x before its declaration results in a reference error because it is not yet initialized. So the key points are: avoid using var because of its confusing hoisting behavior. Use let and const, which are block scoped and safer. Next, we have scope-abiding variables. Let's understand this concept through example. Let's go to module 2 folder and create a file called sav.js that is for scope-abiding variables. There are three types of scope in JavaScript, that is global, function, and block. To understand this, let's write code. In JavaScript, the scope of a variable determines where that variable is accessible within the code. There are three main types of scope. Global scope, variables declared outside of any function or block are in the global scope and can be accessed from anywhere in the code. Function scope, variables declared within a function are in the function scope and can only be accessed within that function. Block scope, variables declared with let or const within a block, for example, within curly braces, are in the block scope and can only be accessed within that block. This part of code is global scope and it is accessible from any part of the code. Next, this part of code is demo of functional scope. Here, variable within this function is not accessed outside, but you can access it with this function. Next, we have block scope, which is inside curly braces. The variable within the block scope also not accessible from outside, and it accessible within the block of curly braces. In summary, the code illustrates how variables declared with let have either function scope or block scope, depending on where they are declared. Variables declared inside a function are not accessible outside the function, and variables declared inside a block are not accessible outside the block. Key points to remember: use let and const for predictable scoping. Avoid var as it ignores block scope and can lead to unintended behavior. This is what I wanted to show you in scope-abiding variable. Now let's discuss about const. Next, let's understand const variable. Let's understand with an example. I will create a file called const demo inside the module 2 folder. Let's create code where we see the use of the const keyword in JavaScript, which is used to declare constants. Constants are variables whose values cannot be reassigned once they are set. The first line declares a constant pi and assigns it the value 3.14159. The next line attempts to reassign pi to 3.14, which results in a type error because pi is a constant and its value cannot be changed after the initial assignment. The code then declares another constant, numbers, and assigns it an array, 1, 2, 3. Although numbers is declared as a constant, the contents of the array can still be modified. This is because the const keyword ensures that the reference to the array cannot be changed, but the array itself remains mutable. The push method is used to add the number 4 to the end of the array, which is allowed. Finally, the console.log numbers statement outputs the modified array 1, 2, 3, 4 to the console. So guys, we are done with our session. In the next session, we will learn about template string. Template literals in JavaScript are a way to work with strings that offer more flexibility than traditional string literals. On this note, I am stopping over here. See you in the next session.